Coming to you live from Nairobi, this is Focus on Africa on BBC News. Our top stories. Sahel juntas launched their own joint military after their ECOWAS exit. Elsewhere, Nigerian authorities say the final group of freed school children are being reunited with their families amid continued confusion over the exact number of those abducted and released. Also in the program, concern grows in the Gambia over women's addiction to tobacco as health risks and hidden use come to light. And from AFCON in Morocco, Zambia comes back to hold Mali to a 1-1 result, a day after the hosts beat Comoros 2-0 in the opening match. Many thanks for joining us on Focus on Africa. I'm Rhoda Odhiambo. Now we begin tonight's program in the Sahel region, where 3 of the country's military-led governments are taking their final alliance a step further. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso say they have finalized a legal framework for the Alliance of Sahel State, a bloc they formed after pulling out of the West African Regional One, ECOWAS. They have formally launched a joint military force to fight militant insurgencies across the region. Now, Mali's President Assimi Goïta presided over the handover of the joint forces flag and equipment, declaring the start of its operation. The 5,000-strong force will be headquartered in Niger, led by a Burkinabe general. Now, all this comes as leaders of the alliance meet in the Malian capital, Bamako, for a 2-day summit expected to focus on how the force will operate in practice and how the bloc positions itself after its break with ECOWAS, as the alliance accelerates efforts to build common institutions, including plans for a joint television network. Now, earlier on, I spoke to Dr. Olayinka Ajala, who's a senior lecturer in politics and international relations at the Leeds Beckett University, and I asked him what this joint military says about the security situation within the Sahel region.
The security challenges are quite similar in all the 3 countries. And when the Alliance of Sahel States, when the AES was formed in September 2023, one of the key things that brought them together was the collective security challenges. And they vowed to solve this problem. In all the 3 countries, we have organizations like JNIM, linked to Al-Qaeda. There are Islamic State cells. So there are different terrorist groups, organizations working in these 3 countries against the interests of the state. So the organization, when they came together, the AES, they decided that they had to do something to solve the collective problem.
How different are these 3 countries with the formation of the Alliance of Sahel States going to tackle insecurity?
There is a common understanding in the region that the Western Alliance have not been able to solve this problem for these 3 countries. And this is what these 3 countries feel. They feel that external alliances over the years have not helped them. You know, we had the multinational joint task force, which Niger was part of. There was the G5 Sahel, and some other security initiatives, which were led by external partners, especially France. So they came to the understanding that, well, we've had these organizations for a long time. They don't seem to be solving this problem. We'll give it a go and see if we are able to solve the challenges by ourselves.
Is this initiative only going to look at security, or are they planning to focus on wider issues that these countries or civilians living in these countries would benefit from the Alliance of Sahel States?
So it's for security, it's also for economic and development activities. Just last week, they launched a development bank with almost $1 billion among themselves, these 3 countries. So it's not just for security, but security plays a significant role. They've established their own biometric passports. They have a free trade area. They've been able to do some things together, but they understand that without adequate security, they would not be able to achieve the development that they envisage.
Let's talk about funding. You just talked about how they were able to rally about $1,000 billion from just these three countries. So have they also mentioned where they're planning to source funding from, or is this just something that they're going to be looking inwards?
They have said that a lot of the funding will come from individual nation states. Russia is also supporting them with weapons, with arms and ammunition. Some of these guys have gone to train in Russia. Some of them were trained in the country by Russian forces. So it's primarily through taxes. We've seen the nationalization of gold industry, uranium in Niger. So they're trying to leverage on the natural resources, increase taxes, and then hoping that if they are able to secure large swaths of their country, then they can bring about economic development.
Let's head to Nigeria now, where the authorities say they have secured the release of the remaining 130 school children and teachers kidnapped from a Catholic boarding school in the country's central Niger state, saying, and I quote, "Not a single pupil is left in captivity." However, there is growing uncertainty over the true scale of one of the country's latest mass school kidnappings, even after authorities declared the crisis over. Police, school authorities and state officials have given differing figures, raising fresh questions about record keeping and accountability in the aftermath of the attack. Now, security officials say they are carrying out fresh verification and headcounts with parents as families prepare for emotional reunions. The uncertainty underscores the wider challenge Nigeria faces in tracking victims of mass abductions even after the guns fall silent. Now, earlier on, I spoke to the BBC's Chris Ewokor, who told me more.
Just yesterday, Sunday, it announced the release of about 130 students, which, according to the government, form the total number of students that have been left in captivity before now. They were released, and the government said it's been a security breakthrough, and because it's come under a lot of pressure. We saw the kidnapping of schoolgirls in Kebbi State, and then, of course, the abduction of some students and their teachers in a Catholic school in Niger State. And the government said they have all now been released.
I mean, right now, Chris, all the schools are closed because of the December holidays. But moving forward, what will the government be doing next year to ensure that children feel safe in their schools?
We do know that there's been a kind of outstanding initiative of keeping the schools safe. But basically, it does seem that the number of security agents, especially the police that were assigned to schools, are not enough to, secure the schools. And probably that could be the reason President Bola Tinubu gave an order withdrawing police who are on security duties around very important personalities to be withdrawn in order to be able to be deployed to essential communities on the front line, according to the president, where their job will be more than necessary. I mean,
so earlier on, it wasn't clear the number of people who were kidnapped. Is it now clear how many people were kidnapped, and what was bringing up the confusion earlier on about the number of pupils who were kidnapped, especially those in Papiri?
Well, the school authority did say that 303 students and 12 staff members were kidnapped. Then 50 of them later escaped and got reunited with their family. So they were supposed to be having about 265 still missing. But now the government has rescued first batch of 100 pupils and then another batch of 130, making it 230. Again, the police said they did a kind of head count with the parents, and their own tally was 227. Now, what the head of the school, who also doubles as the chairman of the Christian Association of Nigeria in Niger State, told the BBC is that there's a possibility that during the night raid, some of the students would have escaped and got reunited with their families without the school's authorities' knowledge. So it is until they receive this batch of 130 students that both the school, the police, and the government will be finally able to tally exactly the number of students that were kidnapped along with the teachers.
You're watching Focus on Africa on BBC News, and here's what's still to come on the program. A new African Football League, as Africa's football governing body announces that AFCON will from 2028 be held every 4 years. Welcome back to Focus on Africa. Now to the Gambia, where women are increasingly becoming addicted to a traditional tobacco powder known as taba, long used across parts of West Africa, but now raising serious public health concerns. While officially classified as harmful, the substance remains widely available, often sold discreetly in local markets. Health experts warn that new chemical additives may be increasing the risks, with studies linking taba use to nicotine poisoning, toxic metals, and cancer. Some women say the addiction has had devastating personal consequences, promoting former users to speak out and campaign against what they describe as a hidden crisis. Aziza Tolaulua with that report.
The first time I applied taba, I felt dizzy and started trembling. It was as if I had malaria. I later fainted.
Rashida is on her way to buy her daily dose of taba. She is amongst an increasing number of women in the Gambia inserted the substance in their vaginas. Taba is a local Mandinka word for tobacco powder, which is usually snorted or chewed. A mixture of the powder and other unknown elements, also called taba, has become a popular drug many Gambian women are using for different purposes.
The feeling I get when I use taba is so special. Only the user can describe it. I am so addicted to taba that I can't stop. If I don't apply it every night, I don't feel normal.
Taba is not sold openly. Only insiders who know its various ever-changing code names can buy it. Ramat has been secretly selling taba for the past 2 years. She has agreed to speak because, although business is booming, she is having second thoughts about the trade.
I don't know what the makers make to make the taba. I usually buy it ready to use. If I get another business that will be profitable, I will stop selling taba because I don't want to harm my fellow women anymore. If they don't see it with me, they won't buy it.
The effects of the drug, which is popular with older, younger and married women, haven't gone unnoticed by men like Jibril, who say taba makes its users avoid sex.
Taba has caused problems in my marriage because when my wife uses it, she doesn't want to have sex. I'm already searching for a second wife.
Although the use of taba is not illegal in the Gambia, the legal age for tobacco use is set at 18 years. There are worries that minors are also using the taba mixture, while doctors and experts have warned about the negative health impact on the sexual and reproductive health of its users.
To discover the chemical makeup of the Taba mixture, our team brought samples to a laboratory for testing. The summary of the results show pyridine derivatives, which are related to nicotine, a stimulant found in tobacco, were present. They can cause psychological, social, and health effects in humans. Users likely face addictions, cognitive enhancement issues, and mood simulation. Too much of exposure by pyridine derivatives can lead to health problems, including cancer-related diseases. The lead levels in the Taba samples are higher than what the FAO and WHO say are permissible in plants. Professor Lukman Adams, the director of DK Olukoya Central Research and Reference Laboratories of the University of Lagos in Nigeria, told BBC News that nicotine ingestion through the vagina can lead to severe side effects, including burning, discomfort, or pain in the vaginal area. It also aids systemic absorption, which could lead to nausea or vomiting, dizziness or lightheadedness, headache, increased heart rate, and blood pressure. The authorities in Gambia have swung into action, cautioning young girls and women against the use of the substance.
The government of the Gambia recognizes that tobacco is a substance that has been harming the well-being of Gambian women. And we continue to be committed to legislate measures and policies and programs to be able to address it.
While she can't do without tobacco for now, Rashida hopes to get help soon and fight her addiction. Azizat Olaoluwa, BBC News, The Gambia.
Now, Africa's largest football tournament kicked off on Sunday in Rabat, Morocco's capital city, as an estimated 69,500 fans watched a colorful opening ceremony, followed by a 2-0 thrashing of Comoros by the hosts. Now, in day 2 action, Mali and Zambia settled for a 1-1 draw in Casablanca earlier today. Mali drew first blood through a Lassine Sinayoko shot onto the roof of the net, but Zambia secured the equalizer in the final moments through a Patson Daka header, delivering an exciting finish. Now, later this evening, Mo Salah and Egypt will begin their campaign against Zimbabwe in Agadir in the final match of the day. Egypt have dominated past encounters, winning 8 of their previous 13 matches. Talk is rife on whether Mohamed Salah could help Egypt to AFCON glory in what could be a defining moment for his career. But as we speak, South Africa's Bafana Bafana have begun their campaign against Southern African counterparts Angola in Marrakesh. But it's not just the results on the pitch that are making the headlines, but also announcement of it, as Africa's football governing body now say that the Africa Cup of Nations will from 2028 be played every 4 years rather than every 2, with a new Africa Nations League taking place every year. Here's more on what CAF President Patrice Motsepe said regarding this development.
The global fixtures, the AFCON now will now take place once every 4 years, because historically the AFCON was the prime focus where we could get resources to fund African football. In terms of this new dispensation, we will be getting resources every year, and the global calendar allows the best African players every year to be in Africa during the window.
Let's now speak to the BBC's Isaiah Akinremi, who is in Fes, Morocco's 3rd largest city, where some of the matches are taking place. Many thanks for joining us on the program, Isaiah. So what's the mood where you are right now?
Everyone is excited right here. The atmosphere, although it's cold here because it's 9 degrees in Fes, our fans, are still, looking forward to the start of the Group C games here in Fes. As you can see, I'm just standing in front of the Fes Stadium, 45,000 capacity stadium that was built in 2003. So the atmosphere is all pumped up. We've got, a lot of AFCON makeovers here everywhere you go when it comes to the start of the African Cup of Nations for the games that will be played here in Group C.
I mean, Isaiah, let's talk about some of the teams that will be playing there. Nigeria's Super Eagles are set to play tomorrow in the next few days. What does the team hope to achieve, and what strategies will they be using on the pitch?
Well, for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the message is clear. They want to win their 4th African Cup of Nations title. This team have failed to qualify for the World Cup in back-to-back editions. And right now, they are looking forward to bring smiles to the faces of the fans. Don't forget that the Super Eagles of Nigeria got to the final where they lost to host nation Ivory Coast. And well, we were at their training pitch yesterday, and the coach has been putting the players into their paces, crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And most of the players believe it's an opportunity for them to bring smiles to the faces of soccer-loving Nigerians. Well, I spoke to one of the star players, Victor Osimhen, the forward for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and he told me that this is an opportunity for the team, for the players to win the fans back to themselves, and of course an opportunity for them to showcase the talent they are made up of. This is what he told me.
The AFCON now is an opportunity for us to try to win our fans over. But I want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to the Super Eagles fans all over the world, those that have stuck with us through the good times and the bad time. And then now this AFCON is an opportunity for us to try to give everything and make sure we actualize our dreams of winning the AFCON. We have so many bunch of talented players in this squad that can get the job done. So for me, I'm part of them also. Like some of us, if we don't see some of us, the others can also play. So that's one of the quality this squad possesses.
Now, Isaiah, let's talk about the announcement made by Patrice Motsepe of AFCON being played every 4 years from 2028. What's been the reaction by football fans?
For football fans, they love the African Cup of Nations, but they understand that these players also are humans and they need to rest because of the big fixtures when it comes to the European season. And for most of the fans, they believe it's an opportunity for the players also to get at least a starting shirt, for their club side. So it's all been mixed reactions, although we fans, we look forward to the AFCON being played every 2 years. But going to every 4 years, it's a big opportunity for CAF also to synchronize the calendar to align with the calendars of world football.
I mean, Egypt is set to play Zimbabwe later today. Let's talk about the pressure that Mo Salah is under today.
Mo Salah is under pressure. The Egyptian king has never won an African Cup of Nations despite his illustrious career with Liverpool, winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League. And of course, he was having some tough times in this season under Ancelotti, where he was dropped to the bench in 3 consecutive games. And well, the road to redemption possibly for him to win this trophy starts today when they face off against their opponent. So all eyes on Mohamed Salah. Hopefully he can come to the party and deliver this trophy for Egypt, who are the most successful teams when it comes to the history of the African Cup of Nations.
Now, if you look at all the teams that are participating in the games, who are the favorites and who are people expecting to be the best players, either defense strategy or offense on the pitch?
Morocco are the big favorites. They are the Ajax-ranked African team. They are the host nation. And of course, they showed to everyone, that they could, just grind out that result in that game against Comoros in the opening game. Don't forget, this team was the first African team to get to the semi-final of the World Cup. Of course, we want to lean towards Morocco to win this trophy on home soil. When Ivory Coast also are the holders, one big thing we need to look forward to. Hopefully they could maybe defend their tie to Senegal with Sadio Mane also stand a very good chance. They've got some quality players all over the park, and maybe the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Victor Osimhen, can stay fit.
And briefly, if you could tell us, what are some of the matches that we should expect to watch out for in the coming days? If you could tell us that briefly.
Nigeria against Tanzania definitely is a big game to watch out for the Super Eagles fans who are hoping that this team could deliver this trophy for the 4th time. Of course, we've got some other games. South Africa, a team that is back to the World Cup since 2010, are hoping to win this trophy also for the first time since 1996 when they hosted. We've got some North African teams that did well joining the World Cup qualifiers. Apart from Morocco and Egypt, there's Algeria and Tunisia. So these are some of the teams we need to look forward to. But maybe Democratic Republic of Congo, a team that could qualify for the World Cup for the first time since 1974, when they are called Zaire, could be one of the dark horses we should look forward to and watch out in this competition.
All right, many thanks for joining us on the program. That's the BBC Sport Africa, Isaiah Akinremi, who will be giving us update on the ongoing matches in Morocco, both on the Focus on Africa TV news program and the Focus on Africa podcast. Now, a reminder of our top story. Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso say they have finalized a legal framework for the Alliance of Sahel States, a bloc they formed after pulling out of the West African Regional One, and have formally launched a joint military force to fight militant insurgencies across the region. Mali's President Assimi Goïta presided over the handover of the joint forces flag and equipment, declaring the start of its operations. The 5,000-strong force will be headquartered in Niger and led by a Burkinabe general. Now, all this comes as leaders of the alliance meet in the Malian capital Bamako for a two-day summit expected to focus on how the force will operate in practice and how the bloc positions itself after its break with ECOWAS as the Alliance of Sahel States accelerates efforts to build common institutions, including plans of a joint television channel. Well, my name is Rhoda Odhiambo. Many thanks for joining us on the program. See you tomorrow.